What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Living the Guard Life. I'm Jacob. That's Nick. Down there below is Mr. Roger First and Cuyahoga Falls. Good Lord. Anyway, welcome into another episode. We're brought to you, as always, by our friends over at Homage Apparel. I don't have my homage on right now, so you're not going to see what I'm wearing, but Roger and Nick knew that I wouldn't be wearing homage, so they've got the homage. Oh, yeah. They're rocking them. Link in the description down below to take you to their Guardians collection. I ordered the Win the Whole Effing Thing shirt on Friday. It hasn't come yet, but as soon as it does, I'll be rocking it on these episodes each week. So go check them out. They're the best apparel business company in the business. You know, the best business in the business. How about that? Let's do it there. Gentlemen, well hold on. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Consider donating to Project Sanctuary so that I get shot more times with paintball guns. We're up to 5 shots.
Really?
5 shots with paintball guns, $250 raised out of our $1,000 goal. So Please consider clicking down there, checking that out, donating what you can. And then, like, sometime in July, we're going to have a good time live streaming me and Payne.
We will.
Guys, how are we doing?
I'll tell you what, Jacob. Roger, I'm just catching up. You know what? I watched the 2 really painful Arizona games, and I did not get to see this 12-3 shelling that we put out there because I was out and about with the family for Father's Day. You know, shout out to all the dads out there. And so now I'm just catching up. I've got it on my TV right now, Bally Sports app, working just fine. Thank you. And we are up 2-0 right now. So I have a pretty good feeling about where this is going.
All right.
I was at my dad's as well. And I turned it on. I think it was when I turned it on, it was 5-1 as I was driving home. And I happened to, on the drive home, I listened to the 6-run 4th inning. So I happened to be in the radio, and it was just funny because by the end of it, Jim Rosenhaus was like, he was just like, and there's another base hit. He was just like, and they just kept getting singles and everything. And you're like, hey, you know, it wasn't the week we thought it could be, but it ended up being, you know, some momentum there at the end. So it was nice. Roger, how are you, my friend?
Fellas, I'm doing great. Man, Father's Day. Yesterday, I get to my sister's right for first pitch, and I go to see my sister and my mom. Jack and I went up fishing. We fished Avon Lake, the pier over there by the old power plant, and we didn't catch anything. We had a couple of nibbles, but yeah, man, I was watching the ball game there, and then driving home, and it just was like nonstop hit, you know, hit after hit. So that was my Father's Day watching that game, and they needed that. I do have a Bulldog 55 report. On Saturday. Saturday, we're playing the number 1 team in the league. They're out of Copley. They're 15-1. We're in second place. And we were down 1 run, bottom of 6. And my son, the Bulldog, hit a triple with a guy on first to score. Tied it. He came around and tried to score to win it for the walk-off. Third base coach at the last second threw the stop sign up as he was rounding third because he had it. He had it all the way. I don't know what she was thinking. His coach threw up the stop. He hesitated, then he went, and it was bang, bang at the plate. So we ended up tying him. But he did hit the tie, and he tried to win it. But now we're in the playoffs. We're in the travel tournaments, and it's going to get exciting, man. I love Little League Baseball, man. I do. I love it. So.
Yeah, man, I can remember those days, you know. And my sister played really competitive softball. I didn't play baseball about the time, especially as I got a little bit older. Like I played baseball until I was probably like 13 or so. And I really enjoyed it. But I spent a lot of summers with watching my sister play softball, and I loved it, man, because you went to the ballpark, you got to – that's where I can remember the first time I ever learned what a taco in a bag was because of summer softball. You would go up there, and they'd be like – I'd go, what's a taco in a bag? You know, it's like, oh, you put all the taco stuff in the Doritos bag and eat it out of there. And I'm like, what is this? You know? And so I can remember going up and getting hot dogs and tacos in a bag and just sitting there and just watching her play softball like all weekend long, man. It's a lot of fun.
I'm kind of like you, Jacob. I got cut freshman year at St. Ed's. I didn't make the baseball team. I was a football player. But I dated a girl that went to Lakewood High School. Her name was Lisa Martin. She was a pitcher, second baseman. She ended up winning a national championship for the Sun Devils. She played second base for the Sun Devils. And she said she could strike me out. I said, there's no way in God's green you're going to strike me out. Man, I couldn't catch up to that ball, the way it comes up at your head and comes up at you. I mean, I got the bat on one of them. She struck me out. And then I got her back, though. I intercepted a pass that football season against Lakewood to seal the win, and she broke up with me that night.
Oh.
Because I picked Lakewood off. That was JV year. That was freshman year. And I sealed the win. They were driving, and I intercepted the ball. And then she dumped me after that game.
So, well, that's not where I thought this conversation was going.
Well, that's where me neither.
Here we are. So last time we talked, guys, they were coming off a pretty nice 4-2 homestand. They were going on the road for 6 games. They were in San Diego. They played in Arizona. They ended up going 2-4 in a situation where we were hoping they could go 3-3, get back home for a couple of very big series this week, and they weren't able to do it. But I will say, I'm a little bit – I'm still very cautiously optimistic about the direction of them right now. They got to figure some things out. That McKenzie thing. I know we don't have any kind of confirmation, but there's a lot of speculation that it's Tommy John and that he's done. And as far as I have seen, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen any confirmation of that. I know they're waiting until they get back to Cleveland, which I believe they're back in Cleveland now. So I believe they'll be doing that. But that was the last report I had heard, was they were waiting for that. So that's really, really tough. I thought Bybee kind of bounced back, after and kind of gutted out a nice game. I thought you really needed to see him gut out a nice game. Beebs continues to be Beebs. You may not be able to trade him now, but you're starting to look at like a place where I know the pitching wasn't as great this week as it has been. And I know there were games they were stifled, but I still think this offense, Jimenez hit 2 triples. Am I right? In the first 4 innings, he hit 2 triples on Sunday. That's what I thought. I was trying to make sure before I said that. Jimenez hits 2 triples, which, listen, you can go weeks and weeks without seeing a triple a game, let alone one player hitting 2. These guys that have struggled at the beginning of the year as they're trying to figure out are hitting now. Jose continues to almost hit a home run every time he goes up to the plate, and somehow it never gets the heck out of the ballpark. But I think you're starting to see this offense figuring it out, and if they can continue to kind of right the ship offensively, if these or pitching wise, if these young arms, Bybee and Logan Allen, can kind of step back up to where they were when they first came up, I think that this team should be and the AL Central still up for grabs. So I think they could figure something out, and I'm still cautiously optimistic right now.
That's the most important part, right? Is you're still 2.5 games back, despite going 2-4 on your West Coast.
Is that it? It's 2.5 now?
2.5.
We got off the airplane in the exact same position that we got on the airplane to start the weekend. West Coast trips don't count as far as I'm concerned.
I'll tell you, they almost could have made my prediction come true. I think some of these were some tough games, and I get that. We knew when you're going on the West, both Arizona and San Diego, good teams.
Yes,
and I understand that. But I would like to share. A friend of mine, a friend of I think a lot of us know him, Cleveland Stats. He puts out a ton of great information.
Yeah.
And so today he put out a tweet about the Guardians offense in 2023. So for over the first 50 games, the Guardians were batting .225, which was 28th. They had a .636 OPS. That was last. 370 hits, 29th in the MLB. 173 runs, last in the MLB. After their first 50 games. So since then, they're batting .289, which is second best in the MLB, .768 OPS, which is 8th in the MLB, 219 hits, second in the MLB, and 104 runs, which is 12th. So we saw some real struggling offense. There's no way around that. Those first 50 games were brutal, and there's nothing you could do about that. But, like we've seen it, because I was with a bunch of my friends this weekend, and a lot of them are feeling really negative about the Guardians and just their chances this year and where they're at right now. And I could see why you just objectively look at their record and you say, okay, they're under 500. They're not really showing that they can compete with the big teams in the MLB. I get why you would feel that way. But when you look at what they've been able to do since their first 50 games, where typically they are cold, and I hate that so much, but it's just the truth. We've seen it time and time again. There's just this pattern of warming up with the weather, and I think now we're starting to see hard stats of that, right? Because how many games have the Guardians played now? So around.
They're around
I had
70
Yeah.
or so.
Okay, so
70, 72.
So you're looking at like a 20 game sample size, 20 some game sample size now since then. So you're starting to build a trend, some momentum in the right direction with your offense heating up. And I also would not discount the fact that they finally DFA'd Mike Zunino, and now you've got Bo Naylor up. I think those are the types of moves that really energize a team, and I don't think it's a coincidence that this last game here they exploded for 12 runs and looked as good as they really have in a while.
Yep, absolutely. What I see coming right now, we got Oakland, Milwaukee, we got the Royals and the Cubs. All right, 2, if not 3 of those teams are going to be teams that are selling at the trade deadline. You know, they're 2 of the worst teams in baseball is Oakland and the Royals. You know, the problem is they don't have that much talent on the teams to be sellers at the, you know, where it'll be prospects or. I see out of those games, 12 games, I see him taking 7 or 9 of those 12. And by 4th of July, I see the Guardians being above 500 and in first place of the Central because they look like they're a team that's on the cusp of making a run. And right now, here we sit, we're end of June, and you have the opportunity in your schedule over the next 12 games where only 3 of them are against the Brewers, which are a good baseball team. They're not the Astros. You know, they're not the Diamondbacks. So you have a good chance to really come out of this 12-game, next 12 games and come out of it above 500 and maybe being in first place. The thing about by the time we get to July, and we talked about last week, I said that we wouldn't see Naylor come up until today or tomorrow, and it was all dependent on that Super Tuesday and all that. He came up early. I was surprised that they flew him to Arizona, but I think the need was there, and I think when he caught Sunday, and he's been catching for Bybee for 2 years now. You know what I mean? So he's familiar with 3 of the pitchers on our staff because he caught them every day when they were in the minors this year in Latin before they came up. I see, like I said, this season still isn't over. We benefit from being in the worst division in baseball. You know, we benefit from it. This experience they're going to get as a team, coming up together, the playoff experience they had last year, hopefully playoff experience this year. Man, they're just starting to. The Cleveland Guardians front office is not on Cleveland Twitter time clock with winning or losing, or they're going about business exactly how they would go about business. If they win another division title along the way, great. But I still believe that this team is another season and a half by next July to being really formed into a contender. And really competing for probably next 3, 4, 5 seasons after that. They're just starting out, man. They're just starting out. And people that want to call them bums and they suck, man, go. I'll tell you, anybody that says that can beat me at a ballpark. If you can hit my son's curveball, my 13-year-old's curveball, then you could say that a major league ball player, no matter what he is, that he sucks or he's trash or he's garbage. Come hit Bulldog's curveball, and then you can say that. Until then, you know what I mean? This is the hardest. There's not a game harder to play than baseball. And I can't sit there and trash these young ball players that are just now becoming big leaguers, man. They're just learning how to become big leaguers. They're going to be Guardians for the next 5, 6 years. And to call them garbage and trash and that is just ridiculous. They're miserable people, that do that. And they kind of ruin baseball. I've been muting a lot of people the last couple of weeks. So that's my rant.
We knew it was coming. We knew we had to get it out of the way. Guys, Bo's finally here. That's what we named this episode, something we want to get to and talk about now. Yeah. Obviously, like you said, I was also surprised. I was also surprised by the Arizona thing. just because and he ends up only playing in the final game, which is fine, whatever. But I agree, I was surprised that, why can't I find it?
It's good to see, after the two games that come out and just they don't quit, man. It was great to see them.
I think the hardest part was when we did our episode last week, and the Guardians were coming off of the 4-2 stretch. When it felt like they were starting to get things together, it still felt like Zunino they were winning without his contributions. Yeah, in spite of him.
In spite of him.
Yeah,
and
you just can't. That cannot be how you operate when your aspirations are winning the division again and playoffs. It just can't be how you operate. So Jacob, leading into, I'm sure you're going to tell us all about it. It's really nice to see that the Guardians said, okay, enough is enough, and they brought Bo Naylor up.
Yeah, and so he goes out there, he goes 0 for 4, but he has a walk and a run scored. Did he steal a base? Is that right? He stole a base, didn't he?
Who's that?
Bo Naylor.
I'm not sure.
Let me bring it up.
I know he walked his first at bat. He got a hit. I know he struck out his first at bat. He walked the second at bat.
He didn't have a hit. He was 0 for 4 with a walk.
Oh, you're right. He didn't have a hit. He walked.
Oh my goodness. Why can't I find this? You know what? It's embarrassing sometimes. Do you know what's interesting? I did not know that. No, he did not steal a base.
Okay.
It looks like he didn't. Who cares? Anyway, they did talk about him being a base stealer, though, which is flabbergasting because I have never really known of many catchers to have that kind of wheels. And that's he went all the way from first to third on that single after he walked because he flew around the base paths. That's what I'm thinking of. And it was just, he was there just to have him there. He gets a walk, he scores a run, he's 0 for 4, whatever. That is fine. But like you said, to say, hey, enough's enough, we're going to do this. We're going to try to take a step forward. We're going to try to figure out this position. And so they go out there, they bring Bo up, and it's like, what do they do but immediately throwing him? They don't throw him in the lineup the day he comes up because, as Roger talked about, he gets flown out to Arizona. Who knows when he got in, all that good stuff. But they immediately get him in, and it's like, I assume a conversation of, hey, this is it, man. Like, we need you, and we're going to put you in the lineup. And so he goes out there, and of course his brother continues. Listen, I got to say something.
Let's talk about it.
I got to take my hat off.
Take it off.
We need to get some voting for Josh Naylor.
I've been retweeting it and voting and retweeting it.
I don't know where he is. Yeah, I don't know where he is now, but he was 10th in All-Star voting among AL first basemen, and he leads AL first baseman by nearly double digits in RBIs. Like the second, I know at one point he was 9 ahead of second place. I'm not sure exactly where he is as it sits right now. He gets 4. He goes 4. Gosh, 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run scored. If this man is not an all-star, I'm going to have an issue. So I just wanted to say that real quick before
I see him being a manager add-on, you know what I mean? Or maybe if you don't make it's such a popularity contest. And then there's fan base. There's some fans out there that don't like him, because of he beat him.
You need that edge, though. I love it.
I love it, but it's such a popularity contest. He's not some big market first baseman. He's not a big name, but he's killing the baseball. He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball. I don't want to repeat something I don't have here in front of me, but he's been breaking records. I think he'll be, like I said, brought on by the manager, or a replacement player if somebody that's hurt or not doesn't, go to the All-Star game or what have you. It'd be just a huge injustice if he's not, representing the Guardians.
And someone brought this up. He's doing it without hitting many dingers right now.
Yeah.
Like somebody brought up on Twitter, and man, I wish I could remember who it was so I could give them credit. But they were pointing out he's doing things he's never done. He's shortening his swing. He's driving him to the opposite field. He's looking for contact and looking to move runners up and hit them in rather than just go up there and kill the baseball. And it's resulted in, you sit right now, he's hitting 288, 8 home runs, 53 runs batted in, 5 stolen bases, and 25 runs scored. He's got an on-base percentage of 331, and he's slugging 450.
He's batting almost 400 in the month of June. It's like 393 in the month of June.
Stupid.
I mean, that is as hot of hitting as you could possibly ask for, and it just feels like Naylor's not going to get that respect. I don't get it.
I
see
think
it every
Hosey's
year.
close.
Yeah.
Hosey's close. He's getting hotter. Hosey's heating up now. Bo's up there. Jimenez is hitting. Even Rosario got in on some stuff this weekend.
Which
Miles Straw was
by the
2
way,
for 3 the other day.
Let me complain real quick. Let me
Okay.
complain just a second. The only night Josh Naylor didn't get a hit. So when we did the show last week, Josh Naylor officially had the longest hitting streak in baseball. The only reason that's not true still to this day is because of that one Saturday night game where he didn't get a hit. Every other game Naylor has played between last week's show and today, we're recording on Monday, he's gotten a hit. Except for one. He would still have the longest hitting streak of baseball. I'm so frustrated. All he needed was one hit. And then we could be like, 2 weeks in a row, Josh Naylor, longest hitting streak of baseball. That would have been cool. But still, it still speaks to how hot he's been.
Yeah, you got to talk about hitting 393. Like, come on.
Guardians fans are pretty good about voting. You know, we usually have a big turnout with the vote, so I'm hoping that the numbers pick up for him. Because he deserves it, man. He deserves it. He really is carrying this team, you know, during some thin games, you know, when we weren't producing many runs. Josh Naylor was carrying us. You know, and the thing is, I think that hurts him too, is he's not the everyday first baseman. You know, he's not out there playing first base every single game. And maybe DH once a week. You know, Tito likes to bounce people around. He's played DH, he's been at first, but he's not the everyday first baseman. I think that hurts him in the votings too. You know, with the Guardians, you see a different first baseman 3 nights a week out there.
I have a question just kind of looking forward. If McKenzie is indeed hurt significantly, is there a chance that we see Gavin Williams this year?
I don't think so. Not with both Bybee, Allen, and Morris. He's a starter, right? That they put into the bullpen, or not? I can't think of his name.
I can't. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't.
No, I don't have it in front of me. But I don't see that, man.
Okay.
I don't even know how ready he is. You know, that's something more that baseball perspective that the people that do the minor league would. I try to keep up with it. But contract, I mean, you already got 2. You want to add another, you know, young arm. I think they'd go out and get at the trade deadline. If we're within 3 or 4 games of the Twins come deadline, we're going to be buyers. You know what I mean? They're not going to get rid of Bieber. You can't get, especially if McKenzie. But I think they'd hang on to Bieber anyway. They did it with Kluber. They kept Kluber past the trade deadline and finished the year with them. What really screwed them was COVID at the time with the Kluber trade. But they were willing to ride it out. He was more valuable to them in season than trading them, you know. And I think that's what they'll do with Bieber. You got Quantrill. We were talking about it before the show. Yeah. And I think that they would, before they bring up another young kid, you know, unless he's ready. I don't know, man. If McKenzie, if he's done for the year, that really. I heard it on the radio today. They said if they traded Bieber, they'd be sending a signal to the fans that they're throwing in the towel for the season. And I don't know if it'd be a signal that they're throwing in the towel because, like I said, I don't think they plan on competing. You know, this kind of caught them by surprise, winning the division, being in the hunt again. But they'd be making moves like business like they planned. I think they have a plan that they're going to stick to no matter what.
Okay.
You know? Long answer to a question.
No, I think it's a good answer.
I don't think they'd force them up, is what I'm saying. I think they're going to stick to their plan of how they bring these guys up and these young players up, no matter what happens. And I don't think Tristan McKenzie's injury has any bearing whatsoever on whether or not Shane Bieber got traded or not at the deadline.
Wow, really?
No, I don't think it plays a. I think they were going to do what they're going to do despite that.
Okay.
I don't think it contributes to it one way or another.
What do you think, Jacob? Do you think McKenzie's injury has any bearing on if they were to trade Bieber?
I think originally that's what I thought. I thought McKenzie was a lot of what had to do with last week. I said I would trade Bieber, but it was the combination of McKenzie, Allen, and Bybee, and Allen is struggling a bit right now. So with him struggling and McKenzie's out, it's not just McKenzie's injury. I agree. It's a culmination of things where you're like, and listen, by the time you get to the deadline when you would or potentially be dealing him, you would know if Allen is bounced back because it's a ways off from here.
Yeah.
But when you start adding those up and you see how many pitchers really in Cleveland that have missed time this year, because Quantrill's on the IL now, and pretty much all these guys are missing time, and it just makes me think that maybe the plan always was to hold on to him. And that maybe guys like me were a little overzealous because of some of the young guys and because of McKenzie looking like McKenzie coming back originally in his first start before obviously getting hurt after the second start. But I don't know. I think the culmination of things, it's not just McKenzie, but I think it plays somewhat of a part.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if the only way you see Bieber at the deadline is if we're 8 to 10 games back from the Twins by then, 7, 8 games out, and at that point, whether you're signaling or not to the fan base, you're 8 games out, and you're going to go ahead and try to get what you can for probably the biggest commodity you have on this ball club, outside of Jose Ramirez, as far as a trade piece.
Absolutely. And I think, I never used to value, I guess, like playoff berths if maybe you went in and you said, like, okay, obviously we'd be a long shot if we were making the playoffs at this point, right? Like if you said right now, compared to the upper echelon teams in the MLB, the Guardians would obviously be a long shot in whatever series they played. And I understand that. And previous me would have said, okay, if that's the case, then let's load up for next year. I don't feel that way anymore. I think winning every year is valuable. I think winning the division and getting experience for these young guys is valuable.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's a way you stay competitive, you stay winning, I'm on board. So I really hope, Roger, that you're right, and that they end up being buyers at the trade deadline. I think that would energize the team. I think Bo Naylor's helped already to do that and will continue, especially on the homestand. Fans are going to be charged up. And you just had that great homestand of attendance, and I think you really are at a tipping point where you could get people excited. You could really rally support behind. And like I said, you're only 2.5 games out. That's still, that is a number
that's nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
You could easily do that.
Yeah, and like I said, right now it's primed for a nice little run against some teams some ball clubs that are beatable. Oakland actually playing pretty good baseball here over the last. But I think it was like sparked with they're kind of like on a high from everything that was going on with the mayor and to show up where they had to reverse where the Oakland fans showed up. Did you guys see that? Where they had a reverse boycott and they showed up. Did you see what Manfred said about it? Well, it's nice to see it. What he said at first, he placated him and said, we tried. We just realized nothing was going to happen in Oakland. And they asked him another question. He said, well, I'll tell you, it was nice to see for once that ballpark having about an average attendance of a normal Major League Baseball game. He had to throw shade on the Oakland fans going out. I can't. I don't want to get into Rob Manfred. But Nick, man, you're 3 or 4 games out at the trade deadline. You're going to be buyers. The thing is, like I said earlier, the teams that are selling don't have much talent. You're looking at the A's, the Royals, the Rockies, are another team that'll be selling. I don't trust anybody from the Rockies with the altitude. You got somebody hitting, killing the ball and hammering home runs in Colorado. Well, yeah, we've seen how that works out when a guy from Colorado goes somewhere else. But what's the talent? I think if they're going to be buyers, it's not going to be some big blockbuster name. It's not going to be there's not an Andrew Miller out there unless they swing something like that. I think it'll be pieces that are young, that are under control, that will help this ball club now and in the future.
Jacob, I promised I would help you get us to stick to our predictions. Have we
Yes.
reached the prediction segment of the episode?
Yeah, we were all wrong.
We were all wrong.
So we go blank, blank, blank. So yeah. So we're all 0 for 1. Let's see where we go week 2 of the predictions. So I'll start with you, Roger, as we wrap this thing up. What do you got for this week's prediction?
Okay, I'm going to go with an easy one. I'm going to say that against Oakland, Bo Naylor is going to leave the yard.
Let's go.
Going to hit his first home run at home against. Do I have to pick what game he's going to do it, or is that?
No, that's fine.
I went heavy last week. I went with.
You went really specific.
I had a parlay. I'm
said
just going simple. Bo Naylor's going to leave the yard for his first home run at the Cleveland Guardian.
I was going to point out, like, what does Bo have to be to really elevate this team? He just needs to be a power hitter. I'm not worried about his average or anything like that. If he can hit some home runs like he was hitting in Columbus, that's all they need.
That's it.
Honestly.
Right.
Nick, what do you got?
I'm sticking to my guns. I'm saying first place by the next time we record this show. First place, I will not come off of it. First place.
I'm with you, Nick. Who's the Twins guy?
They're going to sweep the A's. They'll sweep the A's.
Ooh.
Yeah, they should sweep the A's.
I like that.
So there you go. That's where I'll wrap it up. We'll wrap the show up there. And yeah, so we'll wrap the show up there, guys. We appreciate you so much for joining us. If you're listening on the audio version, rate the show, leave a review. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Let's get us out of here.
This has been another episode of Living the Guard Life. Thanks for living the Guard Life with Roger, Jacob, and Nick.
Yay.